On this video, we are going to talk about something that we have not talked about before. In fact, out of the thousands of videos I've done on here, I'm not sure that this word has ever come out of my mouth. Are you ready? Here we go. It's an anti-nutrient. Okay, what is an anti-nutrient? So an anti-nutrient is something that robs your body of nutrients. So it's gonna rob you of vitamins, it's gonna rob you of minerals. So remember that an antioxidant is going to help get rid of toxins. It's gonna rob you of toxins. It's gonna make sure that toxins don't get into the cells. Anti-nutrients are actually doing the opposite of that. They are depleting you of certain vitamins and minerals. And I just want to say, for the sake of this video, that some of the worst anti-nutrients, and we gotta get this into everybody's mind, are some of the things that you are eating on a regular basis in the Western diet. So these are your refined flours, your refined sugars, your bad oils. Every time you are eating those, I know it tastes good, but what I want you to think about is you are depleting yourself of vitamins and minerals. So yes, every once in a while it's going to be okay, but over a long-term basis really sets you up for a whole host of health problems. So the first thing that I want to talk to you about, and I'm just going to clump them all into one category, is that I want you to avoid the Western diet, the Western standard diet. We used to call it the American standard diet, but unfortunately, our horrific diet has gone out into the rest of the world. And the Western standard diet is the refined flours, the refined sugars, and the bad oils. That is the number one food category I just want you to get rid of because it's packed with anti-nutrients. Now, the second category I'm going to talk about is going to be surprising. It's one that I've talked a little bit about on this channel, but not as much because it's complicated. So a health food that typically can be an anti-nutrient is anything with lectin. Okay, I know all of you that have been like, I've been waiting for you to talk about oxalates and lectins. What is your opinion on lectins? Here's my opinion. We tend to think of lectins as being harmful to the gut. So a lot of people have small intestinal bacterial overgrowth. A lot of people who have digestive problems don't do well with lectins. And so we sort of put those people over there in a corner and we're like, well, sorry for you. Lectins might affect you and don't affect me. Well, unfortunately, they affect all of us. Now, I'm going to stick with me as I walk you through this process, and I tell you the worst offenders. And then I think what you're going to probably say to yourself or leave a comment for me in there is going to be, well, does that mean I need to get rid of all of those? No, I'm going to give you that solution. So let's just start here with this lectin idea. So lectins, remember, they have the reason that they're challenging is they're a defense mechanism that plants put out to protect themselves. That's all a lectin is. It's a defense mechanism so the poor plant can stay alive. Plants want to stay alive too, believe it or not. So they have this lectin quality that actually is toxic. And the way that it is toxic is that it can absolutely destroy our gut microbiome and it can pull nutrients out of our body, vitamins and minerals. Now, in nature, lectins, these plants that are high in lectins, are there to create a warning signal so that an animal doesn't come and eat it and destroy it. But when we eat it, it can destroy our microbiome and it can pull nutrients out. So there's a couple of categories of people that really need to think about no lectins. And I'm just going to put this out here. The first category is anybody with some gut inflammation. So those of you that have bloating, those of you that have chronic digestive issues, this is a stomach pain. You know, it's like years ago we were like, let's pull wheat and gluten out and see what happens. And at first the whole world was like, that's crazy. And then everybody started doing it because they saw that their gut improved. If you are having a gut challenge and you're really struggling and you can't seem to find a door out, try temporarily pulling these lectins out. So it will absolutely help bring some inflammation down. Now, the other category of people that I think is really important for us to talk about, and unfortunately is a growing category of people, is autoimmune diseases. So anybody with an autoimmune condition has a gut issue. So that's RA, that's psoriasis, that's Hashimoto's. All of these autoimmune conditions have there's a gut root cause. So if you're trying to improve that, how about you pull some lectins out? And I'm going to put in here a 2015 study found that lectins are especially damaging for people with an autoimmune condition. So if you have an autoimmune condition and you've thought you were free from the lectin debacle, might be time to just try 30 days without them. And I'll give you the worst ones here in a moment. But and let's see, how do your symptoms? I mean, try it on yourself. Be your own N of one. So there was also, I want to point out another study, a 2015 study referenced in below, I'll put down here, and here's a direct quote from the study, that because of their binding properties, lectins can cause nutrient deficiencies, they can disrupt digestion, and they can cause severe intestinal damage. Now, as I go through what the worst lectin offenders, if you are eating a lot of these, here's how I want you to think about this when you're applying it to your fasting lifestyle. So first, if these are anti-nutrients and they are depleting your body of vitamins and minerals, then we go into a fasted state, and when we're in a fasted state, we're already depleting ourselves even more of vitamins and minerals. We might want to lean into some of the mineral packets that I've talked about here. We might want to add in some different versions of electrolytes, or some of the more natural electrolyte mineral products like bean minerals that I've brought you. They might be of benefit in your fasting window so that you can bring those nutrient levels up. And one of the way you know that you might be low in vitamins and minerals is how you feel in the fasting window. If you feel horrible, it may be because you put yourself in this real nutrient deficit state. And part of that could be because you've been doing the Western standard diet and you've been eating lots of lectin. And so you're already deficient, and then you go into fasting and you feel horrible. So when we talk about adding some of these things in, awesome. But also when you go back to food, let's make sure that we're avoiding those things. Now, the list that I'm about to share with you has has about 7 different worst offenders for lectins. But what I want to explain to you is that if you love these foods, that you might try water-based cooking or boiling these foods. They have shown to kill 95% of lectin. So if you are soaking, even almonds, let's just talk about almonds for a second. They're one of the worst lectin offenders. So with almonds, what you might decide to do is soak them. And research shows about 5 hours or more of soaking these lectin-rich foods can absolutely pull 95% of lectins out. Okay? These are the 7 highest lectin foods. Okay, have you been watching my videos and you're like, I don't know how to put this stuff all together? You might need my fasting lifestyle free course. I'll teach you exactly how to do it. Just click on the link below. It'll take it to you, and it's absolutely free. My gift to you. Number 1 is wheat. Now, I want to talk about wheat for a second because it's really hard to find good quality wheat. And some wheat is good, some wheat is bad. Most of it is bad. So when you're looking for wheat, the best wheat that you should be looking for are ancient grains. Something that says ancient grains means it's been sprouted, it hasn't been processed. So you want more of the ancient grain type wheat if you're going to go wheat. And then make sure that you're doing organic because you want to not have the pesticides sprayed on them. Pesticides, by the way, are an endocrine disruptor. So if you're trying to balance your hormones, let's get rid of the pesticides. Okay, second one, raw or roasted peanuts. So I talk a lot about nuts here, a ton about nuts on my channel. Nuts can be in a raw form, can have enzymes in them and prebiotic fibers in them that really support a healthy microbiome. But there is one nut I can't find anything good about, and that is the peanut. Except for when you're at the ballpark and you want to break them open and pop them in your mouth. That's a whole lot of fun, but it's not healthy. But it's good it's good dopamine. That's what I like when I go to the ballpark. But outside of that, no peanut, because peanuts are so high in lectins, even in the raw form. So let's get rid of the peanuts. Okay, third one. This is one we need to have a long discussion about because this food has just been needs a PR team. And it's soybean. I was just out to dinner the other night and somebody was like, we were ordering something and we were talking about hormones in food, which happens a lot when you sit at a dinner table with me. And somebody's like, yeah, I know, no soybeans. Okay, go listen to the interview I did with Dr. Felice Gersh, who is my favorite functional integrative OB. And I brought her on the Resetter podcast. And we talked about foods that can support healthy estrogen production throughout the perimenopause and menopausal years. And her favorite one was soybeans. So soybeans got a bad rap because years ago, they were considered a bad food when they were highly, like a genetically modified. That would be a processed soybean. If they were a genetically modified, if they were non-organic, sprayed with pesticides, yes, that's not healthy. But an organic, non-GMO soybean is phenomenal for your estrogen levels. But if you have a gut issue, we might need to soak them and cook them in water-based cooking so that we can get rid of the lectin. Okay, last couple ones. Tomatoes. So it's interesting, if you've read any books on diet and arthritis, tomatoes always gets thrown in there. You know, the nightshade plants. And so if you, of course, are having an autoimmune condition and you have some gut issues, just stay off tomatoes. I know if you love tomatoes, that's hard, but how about you stay off of it and then every once in a while you pop on it and then see how you feel. It's a great strategy for testing these foods out. Take them out and then add them in one at a time and see how you feel. The other one is potatoes. So you can boil potatoes. Water-based cooking destroys 95% of the lectins, so just boil your potatoes. Eggplants. So eggplant is another one. Again, we're talking about a nightshade plant. I know a lot of, like I just spent a month in Europe and I know that on every menu I could find an eggplant. So again, just making sure that everything in moderation, that we're not eating eggplants all day long. And if you have an autoimmune condition, let's get rid of the eggplant. And then the last one is the red kidney bean. Now, if you're getting it from a can, yes, that can definitely, there's a lot of reasons why you don't want it from a can. But let's say we go back to, I really love this idea of water-based cooking, like boiling. If you boil your kidney beans, so why don't you make it from scratch? Get kidney beans, boil them, make them from scratch. And now you don't have the lectin problem. One of the things about nutrition that I really want you to think through is that we love absolutes. We want to say, this is bad, this is good. And we go into these camps. The only camp I'm in is the anti-Western diet camp, the processed food camp. I can't find anything good there. So, but when it comes to all the other eating styles, they all have an upside and they all have a downside. So you have to understand you. This is why we talk so much on this channel about N of 1. We have to test it with you. So in this video, what I want you to think through is, if I have an autoimmune condition and I'm eating some of the foods I just talked about, could I boil them? Let me see if I could boil them, or could I completely get rid of them and then add them back in and see if my autoimmune symptoms flare up? If I don't have an autoimmune condition, could I look at these and say, okay, I eat a lot of those, I do fast a lot, I struggle in my fasting window, maybe I need to add in more minerals and vitamins so that I thrive better in my fasted state. Or somebody like me, who doesn't have an autoimmune condition, does well in my fasting window, I look at information like this and I'm like, everything in moderation. Just make sure I'm not having these 7 foods every single day, which I'm not, and sprinkle them in and out. So we got to get out of the absolute when it comes to nutrition and learn what the heck we're eating. It's the most important tool you have for your health. I absolutely believe food is medicine. So let's know what foods we're eating and which ones work best for us, okay? So if you have any other great lectin, anti-lectin strategies when you cook something, put it in the comments. If you want more videos on food and on how they relate to certain conditions like autoimmune, let me know. And as always, you have way more answers for your health than you've been taught. And I hope a video like this really opens your eyes to that. And know that I am cheering you on. You got this. So if you love this video, you're going to want to check out this video. Foods that I used to eat, 7 of them. I used to eat them all the time. Some of them are going to shock you, and I don't eat them anymore. Now, let me tell you where you might find conventional fruit. So apples and bananas are kind of the biggies. The apple a day kept the doctor away. Not anymore.